the big thing, obviously. Strive Beta 2 was a lot of my time. And that game has undergone some changes, or rather, the balance changes mainly. Uh,
Hmm.
Overall, I can say
I
that.
saw that there was like big changes to like air movement, for example.
Say again?
I saw that there were large changes to air movement.
Well, they made they yeah, basically there was some talk about how like jumping was like really strong, so they did change anti-air properties across the board. Overall, in general, everyone got nerfed more or less. Everyone, this is a toned down version of what they were in beta 1.
Hmm.
um some people got touched more than others, certainly. uh I think the Potemkin list is pretty up there. That was a humongous list of modifications and changes and hits he got. I'd say the biggest being making Hammerfall now punishable, or returning it to, I guess, like the way it used to be in previous games to a degree. Um,
No,
well, that's what they did.
that's all I have to say about that.
uh, he can still Kara.
No.
He can still Kara Megafist. He can still Kara Potbuster. Um, Megafist is also, you can jab it if you block it clean. The forward moving one at the very least. So that's punishable there. Um, you know, the Potbuster and then Heavenly uh, will still kill and take a round. That's all there. But yes, he's gotten touched. Uh, and then Leo as well. Max has been talking about that a bit, but Leo has been um, changed a bit. But if anything, again, it's like it's not. It kind of turned what used to be like a guaranteed cross up Rekka combo into super, into a situation where you have to guess a mix up. So if anyone who's a little confused about my wording there, all it is just a situation that was like guaranteed damage now kind of just creates a little bit of a rock paper scissors situation where Leo can still stay on offense, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Nago Ryuki is very, very different now. Humongous nerfs, I would say.
Oh,
To
what? Really?
Yeah, yeah. So the buffs he got were the bite is does more damage, and the bite
Right.
uh, reduces your blood faster.
Right.
Also, his low spinning blade attack is now it leaves both characters at like even. So there's a
Okay.
moment there where you can either one of you can take a turn or not. Like it's a zero as opposed to before when it was um, not as safe. But they made the blood go up even faster. You can do less moves now. You cannot even do anything resembling what you could in the first beta, otherwise you're going to pop right away. It used to be that like each he has three pips of blood that you can build up, and it used to be that each move built up about half of a pip. Now you get more or less three moves and you're full. So it's really like, okay, you have some intentions here. I'd love to know what they are. I'd love to know what you want for this character, because like if it's just a matter of like, well, just use the bite more, then it's like, okay, but there's a point where people generally don't fall for that. You have to it gets a lot harder to kind of work it in.
No,
So
just make them fall for it.
yeah, imagine if landing a potbuster was not what gave you the round, but it was what kept you alive. In a way, it's kind of it's. So I'm just looking at this, going like, I'm sure you have a design idea in mind. I'd love to hear what the explanation is. You know,
I
and
assume that
I'm
the
trying
amount of
because.
massive changes we've seen between beta 1 and beta 2, etc., we're going to see another batch before final.
I certainly would hope so. And I mean, the thing with all of these, like with fighting games, the hardest thing in the world is to step outside yourself and not just feel the weight of your character and only want and just complain about that, right? Because in every single fighting game, every main of every character has always seen a list of balance changes and went, "What the fuck?" Right? Because you're just tunnel visioned. It's a
Oh,
humongous part.
trust me, as somebody who's played MOBAs off and on and plays an MMO and has played multiple MMOs, trust me, it's not just fighting games.
Sure, sure.
I still remember back in 2005 talking to friends of mine who were going through like pants shitting meltdowns over Warlock changes.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it's and thus you want to like not be this ridiculous reactionary like hyperbolic person that's like, oh, game's over, fuck this, they touched my character, but which is why I'm kind of looking at it going like, if you have a game plan here, I'd love for an explanation of what you think it should be officially in some way, or the Rising Thunder thing of going, hey, this is why we nerfed this is what we want you to do instead. Anything like that would be really helpful, because I'm like, as is, when we have to figure it out on our own, it looks as if you kind of just want him to suffer or like do something that'll get you 30 to 40% damage off your opponent, and in exchange you catch super cancer, and then your life bar is now at 60% down or something like that.
Yeah, good. Good. Good.
Like I
That's
just
good.
I
That's
just
a good way to design a character.
well, so here's the other thing, right?
Don't understand. I don't understand what Nago is supposed to be.
We've honestly, like, so us Nagel players at this point, we've been resorting to like looking at the past for answers, right? Because maybe the answers lie in the past, right? So
I don't know, man.
so what can we look at? Well, going back to the days of Double X, you had Robokai, who had an overheat
Yeah.
meter, and if you overheat,
Right.
you want to keep his energy high, but if you overheat, then he explodes and falls on the ground, and you lose your momentum, right?
Right.
That's bad. You don't die, but you definitely take an unneeded blow up, and then you possibly concede, your offense in that moment.
But I mean, I when we first had those matches and we talked about them the next week, I described your character popping the blood as a suicide button.
Yes.
Only for you to now tell me one beta later that it is now a faster suicide button that
Correct.
hurts more.
Yes. We have made adjustments
How is,
so that he will die faster. This is correct.
what is it? Why is it's like a character, like the character's got Tekken's Pandora system just to himself.
We have designed a cool black vampire samurai, and that's too many cool things in one, so we've got to take him down a peg, Anyway, I say this proudly wearing my Nago Ryuki merch. I got the shirt on and everything with the heart logo in the back. I'm very happy with everything about this character in design and aesthetic, but I goddamn don't get what the intention's gonna be here. I was gonna say, like, Robokai as an example. Sin had to eat food to have a similar function where he could cancel special moves into special moves. But if he extended himself, then he would get hungry, and then he'd go, and then you could hit him, right, for free. So
Right.
just standing still in a fighting game is a huge punishment enough.
If it was just the burst, okay, but the health loss? Like, why?
Or even
Why?
like, think about when Soul uses his dragon install, and then he goes down on a knee afterwards and goes,
Yeah, sure. But you get to do a dragon install in exchange for that.
Uh-huh. So yeah, we don't know. We don't know, but right now they want you to do less of his moves. And then, when there's matchups like where people are very good at zoning, like Axel, or where they're all over you in the air, like, Milia or Chip and stuff like that. You don't have air dashes or anything. You just have to walk slowly on the ground. You'll find there's a lot of rounds that basically went like this. You have that opening moment, and then, like, I get the first hit. I could use a bit of meter I use a bit of blood to push him to the wall and do, again, about 40% damage. And then they wake up from the corner, and then they escape, right? And now they've escaped back to the other side of the stage, and I'm one pip of blood away from going overboard, and they're up and they're on the other side.
The next thing you do has to be a bite.
Or just walking slowly and pressing regular buttons, And then I went like, there's just nothing to really do right now. It's confusing. So, there's a beta feedback thing, and one of the things I asked for, even though I believe they're probably just going to check this stuff with a word highlight, aggregator, but I asked for patch notes that explain balance changes, because
a lot. That's a
that
lot
would
of
help.
work.
It would go a long way. I think it would help a lot. Just letting people know what the reasons and intentions are.
If anybody who can hear me right now is doing their beta things, survey, please put in "make Potemkin stronger" under notes.
He's no longer a god, but he's still incredibly scary and still very fine. I don't know if you know this, but
well, of course, Potemkin's always gonna be scary because the way scaling in that game works means Potemkin Buster is just a fucking nightmare to your health bar. But I grappler give broken. Can I play a grappler and it be broken once, please? They always get nerfed into being like normal or like a little less than normal, and then they end up being bad. Just fuck it, Potemkin Buster full screen. Shut up. Just hit the button, the game is over, I win.
Why even play the video game at that point?
So I could get the fucking...
Just go punch the child and take his quarter.
The brain chemical in my head.
Okay. Well,
doing drugs is bad.
Okay.
Unless you just hit the button for Potemkin Buster.
Well, look, I mean, Octopimp, who was fucking cleaning up all weekend, did exceptionally well with Potemkin. Also, massive shout-outs for him landing the role of Axel in the dub. Really cool news there. That's fun. Overall, dub voices pretty solid, I gotta say. Like, I like some of them are returning from Exerd, some of them are new, but I left it on dub most of the weekend just to hear out the differences, and I like the dub. It's not that bad at all. Pretty solid on
it's
Nago.
been my experience with Arc System Works games that my ability to enjoy or / tolerate the dub, depending, is based on like pretty much only one factor, and it's not even how cool the characters sound, and it's basically what the sound of the average hit effect is. So playing Persona Ultimax in English against Icus is like it's legitimately horrible. It's awful.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything like that, but I did notice that Potemkin in English has occasionally like a low rumbling, like. And
I like that.
Yeah, it's a little like, ooh, what is that? But I don't know what causes it. I don't know if it's just like idle stance or what, There's also
Doggo in
some.
English must have a nicer hit because he has that super long taunt that
He does.
I
He
mean, I
does. He
don't
has the
understand
big
what he's saying.
talking about onigiri and its starch resistance and how healthy it is and how it's perfect for warriors on the battlefield because it can be eaten simply, quickly, without preparation or utensils, packaged, preserved, and it gives you all the essential nutrients. Onigiri is a superfood.
Isn't he a vampire?
Yes,
Okay.
he's a nightless, to be specific. But yeah, his dub is pretty solid, and there's one key thing I wanted to hear to be like, this is my make or break for the dub on it, and it's whenever he loses round one, he just laughs. You know, he has that like ha ha ha, like you beat me. And I'm like, I want a good laugh out of it, and the dub version of it is fantastic. So at the end of the day, I'm like, that's the most important part there. That works out. So yeah, I can keep the characters undubbed for this. Street Fighter 4 and 5 were great with the whole set it by character thing, because then you can just pick and choose your favorites. But overall, good stuff. Giovanna got a pretty good dub as well, although they didn't go for the like, I don't even know what to call it, but it's just like there's a particular, in Japanese, Giovanna has this kind of like lazy Harajuku girl sounding voice.
Yeah, I know
like,
what you mean.
it's which is FLCL Haruka, right? Yeah, she has like that kind of, like Gyaru-ish kind of sound, and they definitely didn't go for any English equivalent of that. She sounds great anyway, Haruko, did I get that wrong? Haruko. Anyway,
her name is hard to say. It's Haruhara Haruko. Like, come on, that's too much Harus.
Other things changed about the game now. Staggering with button mashing is back, which I don't like. There's occasionally
I don't like that.
Moments where you take a big hit and then your character goes whoa, and then you can mash a button to recover faster. I don't want mashing in any games. I don't like it. It doesn't. It's an inconsistent thing. It encourages mistakes. It's not. It's just not a good thing to reintroduce. And like, I don't know. At the end of the day, it might make make you feel like, oh, I can recover better if I just go nuts on the stick or whatever. But it's like it's an antiquated system that needs to go away.
Somebody in the chat just said that they liked it, and I have to say that no, that guy, you don't. You're just saying that to make people mad. You don't actually like it. I'm sorry.
I mean, like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out and had mash to do more damage on your supers while they're happening. But if you mash wrong, you're going to accidentally do your X Factor.
Yeah.
So then everyone had to learn to mash without pressing the fourth button, which the game doesn't tell you.
Mash correctly, goddammit.
So then people are going to make that mistake early on when they're learning how to play the game, where it's like, no, only mash with the correct buttons. And it's like, fucking...
If you motherfuckers want to mash to escape bad situations, I will point you towards the Virtua Fighter 4 Evo training tutorial about implementing staggered throw breaks in 10 frames, and you go play that fucking shit and enjoy that, you fucking freakazoids.
One of the best things to happen to those mechanics is anime games where, like, Dragon Ball, for example, while you're getting comboed and you want to tech out at the first possible moment, just hold a button down. Any button. Yeah. If you don't hold a button down, you'll drop to the ground, and then you can still be comboed for like a fake combo. But if you hold any button down, you'll flip out at the first possible moment.
Fighting games should be physically easy to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't mean like you can't have high execution. I'm saying that there's no reason to have a complex input when a simpler input will do exactly the same thing with no change, right? Like, quick recovery should be like a single tap, or hold a button, or don't hold a button.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, no, like there's no reason to decrease precision. You know, I would say so. Yeah, the system though.
I think I think that the fantasy strike, like, just don't hit anything to automatically tech a throw is kind of genius.
It is, yeah.
Except I've never been able to tech a throw in fantasy strike because of muscle memory from 25 years of other games.
That's the only thing stopping you though, is habits.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
yeah, but they're built in, man.
Yeah. But it was a really I enjoyed learning how to let go of everything for a moment when I think something's happening. That's a fun like new form of like input to learn, you know? Yeah, you can tech a throw by just letting go of all controls, and your character will
Can't
automatically
do it.
tech.
I literally just can't do it. It's so crazy.
It's fun. It's a really cool idea. So system wise, Guilty Gear Strive lobbies are now introducing the instead of teleporting to where you're gonna fight with the swords out, you can go stand on a battle station, which is kind of like I guess the previous arcade systems you could sit
But
at.
why didn't we just do this before?
Well, now what that does is it makes it more clear who's going to fight where and what is happening, but it still does not make the matches link up smoothly. They still struggled to pair up with each other. You still had tons of people trying to challenge, and then the receiver couldn't accept, and then the receiver has to reinitiate the challenge, and then the other person can't accept, and then you try to queue up in the auto training, and then it says the maximum number has been reached. So it still sucks. And
You know,
I at this point I'm like, if you can't get it functioning the way it did in Rev 2, then we just need to go back to the list of names. Fuck all the cosmetics. There might have been
it's
deals coming
interesting.
up for guest costumes. Who cares?
Oh yeah.
List of names.
It's it reminds me of a kind of tangential relation, Sonic games, right? There were a lot of 3D Sonic games released in the past 10 years, and some of them were complete garbage, and a couple of them were like okay to pretty good, right? Or at least had cool ideas. Like people liked some parts of Colors, for example. And one of the things that stood out to me a couple years ago was that somebody pointed out that the problem here is that every single fucking game Sonic Team put out for like 15 years needs to be a completely new game that reinvents the whole franchise every time. And they never, ever, ever just go and improve the one good idea they had last time and make it good. And it kind of feels that way with the online lobbies with ArcSys, where like I watched it go from like Exerd to Rev 2 to DBZ to fucking Grand Blue to this. And it's like it doesn't have to be fucking different every time.
Cross
One
tag
of
battle
those worked.
did it too. Yeah.
One of them worked fine. Ultimax had the same lobby system, just to get up to a cab. And then they're just like, but what if it's crazy this time with DBZ? And it's like, it doesn't work.
Well, do you know?
It doesn't
Do you know
matter.
the most functioning version of these lobbies was the Accent Core Rollback Edition menus, where it literally was just it was a list of names. That's all it was. You go to a lobby, someone joins, you see the name in the list, or you fight a random person in your own ranked list name thing. And Exerd in Rev 2, you could do that like you could search without going to the arcade like setup thing, or you could just do it on a basic menu or whatever. It would be great if they allowed for both. But like then it would perhaps mean that like the people are not going to our like Habbo Hotel fucking thing, and
Yeah,
like trying to
there's-
push that cute cosmetic aspect of it that might be casual friendly is kneecapping the functionality of the main thing you want to do when you play the game.
I'm definitely feeling this weird emotion coming off the game, if that makes any sense, which is a developer sitting there. It's like, I want the player to load up the game and be like, yay, I'm gonna go play Guilty Gear and I'm gonna go into the lobby. Oh, look at all the people here. Oh, that guy looks like Soul. That's cool. Let's go have a match. Okay, let's and it's just like, this represents literally no one's experience. People's experience. I would like to play a match. Match good now.
It represents the experience of those ladies in the commercial in Japan. That's Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear.
And it's like, that hasn't been the fantasy experience of anyone other than the person making the game, where they want their game to be played like this.
So I'm reminded
of, if you could take load screens and all that shit out and just go, like, literally turn the game on and it goes to a character select and you press, you pick your character and then it just loads you in to the next fight with nothing else, that would be ideal for 99% of people. And there's a reason why that's how arcades work. You just walk up to the cab and go character select, and then you're fighting.
So I'm reminded of, like, the struggle with the initial version of the game switching over from delay to rollback. And I'm reminded of how when I did the interview, that they said, like, hey, this is an internal discussion that's going on. Some people on the team want to go one way, some people want to go another way, and it's currently being decided, And this kind of makes me think, like, the team that wanted this, like, cute lobby system in place has not yet let go of the dream. And they have not yet let go of the idea that, like, this didn't come out the way they wanted it to. It's not moving as smoothly as they hoped it would on paper, and it's now a detriment, right? Someone is hoping to still salvage it for some purpose. They're trying to keep it going, keep it in place, like the sunk cost fallacy is probably involved. And the solution definitely and clearly at this point would be a simple list, I don't imagine we're going to see people who are new players that would have a list and then decide, you know what, fuck this, I'm not as interested because of this basic list system.
I wanted to hang out with my Guilty Gear friends in the lobby,
That, like, I don't think you're going to see any hurt sales or retention from losing out on the Habbo Hotel lobbies. I really don't, Now, that being said, to anyone who hasn't been playing it, touched it, or paid attention to it, I need to make it very explicitly clear that this is just the lobby system. Once the games connect and you match up with somebody, it continues to be immaculate rollback netcode.
A single frame of delay on every match, and it's still so good.
Also,
incredible.
Also, this version of the game added rematch buttons to the end of each match. So now you can hit that rematch button and get right back in there and do a set 2 out of 3 when you're in ranked. Or if you go to the park, you can just rematch forever.
Best change they could have possibly made.
It's incredible. And because what that means is, everyone who played got, if you kept going through it, you got, like, I would say, like, 10 times the matches per hour than you got in beta 1. The ability to just go back to the park and rematch as much as you wanted and do a long set with somebody completely allows you to just, like, do a first to 10, whatever you want until you're both tired and you just walk away. Right? The rating updates and the match limit thing only applies if you're in the main competitive tower room. If you leave the tower and go to the park room, it's not gonna update and kick you out for rematching. So you would get so many more matches than last time, and that helped a lot because we got to play more of the game overall. It's great. It
says a lot. Hey, what's the best change they made? This one change that gets you out of the lobbies for most of your playtime.
Yeah. So all in all, like, I still relied on my auto matchmaking system. So I'd go to a room and then wait in training mode, and then I would let waiting training mode do all the work for me. And for the most part, that continued to do its job. But the times where I
That's
had
what
to
I did. Yeah.
yeah, it really does cut out a lot of the headache. But the times where I did try to pair up with people or match specific friends, it just kind of was like, yeah, you're gonna have to struggle to get this connection going, and when you're this close to release, that should not be the case. This should be smooth because we're so close
Yeah,
to the final
there's
version.
really only, I mean, we're a month off, and with cert, that like we're like what, a week, we're like 10 days of changes left possible, like
Yeah.
tops.
We are also seeing the replay system implemented and the R code stuff, and well, it no longer causes a minute delay to download someone else's
Oh,
R code,
thank God.
so that's nice. Although there is a still pretty long lag if you go through, I think, the replay system and then try to find someone's page to favorite it or whatever. But for the most part, I noticed that was working okay. I went back and I was able to watch replays fine. Um, it's all doing what it's supposed to. The ranking post match screen. One of the questions on the questionnaire is like, do you find the screen cluttered? And it's like, it's the most cluttered thing in the entire game. Like, the amount of shit they're showing at after, like, over your win pose, there's like 8 things floating over the screen that are just like, oh my god, guys, just please, like, ah. It is very cluttered. So that needs to be fucking adjusted in some way. But yeah, man, it's fun. It's what it is. I'm noticing that there's, at least like hardcore FGC wise, there's a contingency of folks that are just like fully anti-Strive, like fuck it, they made the game not fun anymore, and I'm tapping out or canceling pre-order or whatever.
I talk to one of those people relatively regularly. I find that opinion fascinating.
Well, I don't, because I notice that it happens every single time a new series starts in a franchise. Literally every single new entry that was not a sequel to or is not an upgraded version of a game, but it's like the brand new thing, you can go back and check the internet logs of people trashing the first version of all new fighters. So in the end, they're probably going to jump back on at some point long after all of that like heat
I
has
don't know,
died
man.
down.
Maybe they'll just play KOF 12 and 13 to see those delicious sprites.
Maybe. Um, but whatever. That's why it doesn't matter. Like that. I don't. That's the opinions. I'm not like here to fucking shit on anyone's like anti-Strive opinions. If they're not having fun with it, then that's their thing. But I still had a lot of fun with the game, and I still greatly look forward to whatever else is coming.
Yeah, my experience has been a lot of people on my timeline have complained about Strive, like they complain about the air changes or the it's a little less complicated than say Rev 2. And like I just tweet underneath them like I had fun throwing guy with Potemkin online good.
Yeah, I think it just kind of comes down to like everyone has different bars for what makes or breaks a game in its like what's purchase worthy, like list. Like if your air mobility is a game breaking, deal breaking
Yeah.
facet for you, then yeah, you're not going to buy any game that doesn't feature a particular feeling of air mobility. Or in some
Yeah, and some
cases,
people just like no buy, no buy. Like for
yeah,
real. That
character
was a real
specific.
thing.
For sure. So we'll see. Although I did retweet this ridiculously stylish combo from Max, or not from Max, but it was a Max retweet where like Soul is like switching sides 3 times over the course of this fucking juggle on Potemkin, and it's rad stylish, very very fancy. I think we're gonna see some cool shit coming down the line. This is obviously early on, but I just want
I
to
will
hear
say
from the team what they intend for these characters to play like.
there is one part, particularly of like Rev 2 players, that I can absolutely sympathize with their point of view, because if you're the kind of person who likes the way Rev 2 plays and doesn't like the changes to Strive,
Hmm.
it's really, really frustrating that Strive is immaculate in the online play
Hmm.
and Rev is fucking not.
Hmm.
So
But plus
the
R
statement
is.
of the statement of like, well, just play, the game you like, and it's like playing the game you like, you actually kind of sucks ass can play compared to playing the game you don't like as much, and that's really frustrating.
Yeah, the inclusion of fantastic netcode like changes your willingness to go back to a game that you like more that doesn't have that netcode.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like you
see,
can have the chocolate ice cream that the guy has spit on, or you can have vanilla ice cream.
they just
That's
they just announced Samurai Showdown is getting ported to Steam, and like the funniest thing ever is just watching all my friends in the Sam Show community get angry at the announcement because they're just like, I hate the fact that any Sam Show news just makes me mad now because
oh yeah,
this is still a really good game and the netcode's trash and
it's
uh
terrible. Like
anything
it's really terrible.
and anything we see being announced for it, be it a new character like Amakusa or it being ported to a Steam platform, just means it's another like positive opportunity for a game that has no good way to play online with your friends outside of getting Parsec involved. You
It's
know?
like, oh, cool, I can go play it on Steam and get mad there.
Exactly. Exactly. That's so the community is just like vex at news from this game, you know? Like, man, what a weird place to be in, you know? Um but anyway, there was a really a fun post about like what DLC should be expected based on data aggregation from the character polls in different regions, right? So it was on the Guilty Gear subreddit, and um, they basically went to each of the polls from like North America, Europe, Japan, all these things, and they kind of went, okay, for all these regions, what are the most popular characters demanded,
Who do
and
you want?
and
Who do you
who are
want,
the
guys?
ones that are like not even mentioned at all, and by that data, Johnny, Dizzy, and Biken are are the three most popular to return across regions.
That is, I can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, those characters are great.
Yeah, so that and then there's no accounting, of course, for like new characters that we don't know because we don't know. When it comes to the ratio of like returning faces versus new, I like 50-50 personally. I know
Yeah, I agree.
some people want more
I
returning, but
definitely agree.
I like 50-50.
Because sometimes a new person might be your new favorite, like Hakan, who
There
I
you go.
love.
Trust the unknown, you don't know, they might have some cool shit for you. And between the new characters that showed up in Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat 10, Mortal Kombat 11, I'm digging these new characters. I'm like, yeah, give the new a chance. um but anyway, so yeah, these are likely going to happen like right off the bat, and we'll get into it once we touch the docket with like the story trailer and stuff. But overall, Strive sitting in a good place with that netcode, and sitting in a good place where it's just stylish and fun, and getting to play as much as you want really just satisfies that itch to get more games in, because we could not get as many games in as we wanted over the first beta. Now we just need to have them iron out those things and hopefully take the L on the lobbies and just give us something simple that works.
What, and give us obbies?
Wop wop.